Hello everyone, welcome to this tarot reading for the new moon in Leo happening Thursday, July 24. Today I'm going to use the Robin Wood Tarot and the Nature's Whisper Oracle deck. Something I find quite interesting about this particular new moon is that its chart looks like a pentacle. It looks like a pentacle. So I think this is quite a profound symbol for a new moon because, of course, aces are seeds. They are new beginnings, and new moons are very much about planting those seeds. So with a new moon in Leo, we are really able to look forward to a new start. Leo is an energy where you want to express yourself, you want to speak from the heart. It rules the heart and is ruled by the heart. We are all ruled by our hearts, aren't we? The heart is the pulse, the rhythm of our particular physiology. It is the rhythm of our love. It's the rhythm from the center of the chakra system. It's the center. It's the center. So I also see the Ace of Cups with this. New moons, of course, are times of uncertainty. They're times of darkness because we cannot see the moon in the sky. It is obscured. But in those moments, we have faith. So what gives you faith? What is in your heart that matters to you, that is truthful, that is pure? And by pure, I mean it comes from that true essence of self. Where do you need to step up to the microphone and talk about something? Are you ready to be heard? Are you ready to be seen? Are you ready to stand up for something? Are you ready to stand up for yourself or perhaps somebody else? Leo can connect us with our inner child. It can connect us to children. It connects us to a playful, joyful part of life where we can use our creative ventures to live a fantasy, perhaps, that maybe you cannot actually live in the real world, so to speak, but the fantasy and the creative and the art life is very much real. I talk about this because as someone with Leo in the third house, how I express myself is through art. It is through, actually, and having been a musical performer for some years now, there's an aspect to making music and telling stories. Well, the aspect is telling stories and, having this way to process a lot of things I see happening in the world, my own experiences, and really to actually confront something that, because I just want to say as a caveat, I know a lot of you are looking at my Three of Swords and you're going, but Wendy, you're talking about the heart. Why are you, why do you carry the emblem of the injured or this, this image of pain? Well, I've always connected deeply with the Three of Swords card, and it's for this reason. It reminds me of art. It always has come up in a context relating to, yes, wounds, and in fact being quite vulnerable. We typically see the Three of Swords in the rain on that card. So there is this element of vulnerability and being wounded, and we all have a wound in this life. We all have been wounded, and many of us struggle to process these wounds because they are not, it's a method of self-protection for some of us. And so I would ask you at this moon, what is the pain that you carry with you? Leo looks at themes of loyalty, honesty, honor, and where do you carry pain because you think it's the honorable thing to do? Where do you carry pain because you think because it feels like it keeps you connected to something, and it does, but it might be really holding you back, and maybe there's a new kind of way that you can move forward. And so going back to what I was saying about living through art and living through playing a character. I like to dress up as different characters when I'm playing music. And of course, with Leo, we think about the drama and the center stage and all this. But really communicating something that is quite authentic and quite deep and quite real, but using art as a way to live that fantasy. I think art is so empowering for that reason, because you can become anything, you can create anything, and art can be anything. Art can be the costume you wear, it can be a painting, it can be a song, it can just be the work that you do in the world. But I think there's a powerful transformative quality to art, and I don't think Leo so much is about transformation, so to speak, but I think this new moon can help us transform in a way, again, going back to that pentacle imagery that this chart really resembles. That's so symbolic. I mean, it means that all the elements are aligned. It's an absolute new foundation, new beginning, and a new beginning in trust, in safety, in something that you can count on. And, in a world that is changing so quickly, change is constant, change always happens. But it really feels like in the last, few years that we have really accelerated in terms of development. And in some ways it feels like we've really gone backwards. We've torn down a lot of the development that's happened, and we've sacrificed the development of the human experience for the sake of the acceleration of that which is not human. And therefore, we're entering, with Pluto and Aquarius opposite this moon, it feels like we learn about the power of I'm not saying Aquarius energy is not human, but in the symbolic context of this conversation, it represents technology, and it represents this, futuristic, where are we going? How can we improve? So we really should be looking at how can we improve while building upon what we already have. So again, think about that Ace of Pentacles, and how can you build upon what you already have? You don't have to completely destroy to rebuild, but it can simply evolve, and you can take all that wisdom and everything with you. So we are sacrificing the human element for the sake of seeing how far technology can go. And I wonder, what are we losing? What are we sacrificing? And so my way of rebelling against it, I guess, even though I'm using technology to connect with people and really share these messages, which is an amazing, amazing gift of the 21st century. Art is a way of staying human, and it's a way for me to combat these visions of the world that feel unhuman or even inhumane. But of course, there is always this quest in the human nature, because at the end of the day, we are just biological creatures who have this imperative to grow, expand, conquer, reproduce, assert our will. But we also, on the other hand, have this heart space. We all have heart space. Some of us are connected to it, some of us are disconnected from it. But frequency and energy are so much a part of the heart space, because again, it is that pulse, and it is the center of us. And so I look at the Three of Swords as a symbol of reclamation, where something tried to destroy me and I refuse to let it destroy me. I'm not going to go down on your terms. I'm going to go down on my own terms, ideally. So I'm going to fight to the very end. And again, art is such a powerful way for me. There's many different ways we can do this, but for me, art is such an empowering way to, again, live those stories, tell those stories, but through a metaphorical sense. And it's quite empowering to even embody something that scares you, or something that is so opposite of you. In my songs, I sing a lot about injustice. I sing a lot about crime. I sing a lot about also just the cycles of nature and the cycles of life. And I think through that artistic process, for me, there's a reckoning happening, there's an understanding happening, there's an acceptance of those things. I have spent a lot of time, in my life really. There's a lot of things that are difficult to accept about this experience, but at least for what I've been through, I can accept that those things have happened and begin to then move forward and kind of look at maybe what is still there and how can I work with it from a place of power. So really, the art that I make is about power, and it is about protection. I do sing about the weather. I sing about angels. I sing about all kinds of things, animals, protecting animals. But there's also a really dark horror element to what I do, and that horror is quite influenced by the real events that I see happening in the world, and understanding why those things happen, but also combating that energy with the creation. Because on either end of, the polarity of of existence, we have creation and then we have destruction. And they're part of a circle, but they're also quite polar to one another. And so when you witness destruction happening, I think just the biological urge is to produce something, to create something. Some people are designed to destroy, it seems. I think that destruction, I don't think people are designed to destroy, but I think that when people lack power in some area or areas of their lives, they begin to seek power in something else. And often to find power in destruction is like a last resort. And so I sing about destruction, I write about destruction. There are a lot of Scorpio elements, Plutonic elements to my music, because I'm so fascinated by that creation-destruction polarity. But through the art of creating, even if I'm singing about destruction, I'm fighting the force of destruction because I am creating something. And really it goes back to this element of the heart and having strength and saying, you can't destroy me. You won't destroy me. Again, I'm not going to go down on your terms. Having that willpower. People are not always going to give you that opportunity to express yourself. Like, people don't, it's not a classroom where people are going around the circle saying, okay, and what do you have to say? And what do you think about this? Like, in real life, you have to speak for yourself. You have to just insert yourself, which can be challenging again when you're soft, but really the world is not going to wait for you. And this is something actually that I follow Pam Gregory. She recently said something, well, she's been saying this message for a long time. She's been saying, nobody's coming to save us. And I think it is so bold and so true, to say that as like a person who, when people view you as this spiritual leader, as somebody with answers, when you tell them nobody's coming to save you or save us, it's, okay, no one's coming to save us. We're all in this together, but also we have to step up and be our own heroes. That's what this symbolizes. And it's interesting to me that even through all these years, I still come back to this image and it's just so striking to me. And it perfectly kind of symbolizes that living as somebody kind of on the fringe of society, living as someone who sees the world differently and kind of like really doesn't understand why people do what they do. I mean, I understand it, but I also know that it doesn't have to be that way. What part of myself do I need to keep sort of contained and disciplined, but also what part of myself do I need to let run free? And it just keeps coming back to that creative side, because there's so much fun in creativity, in art, in music, in escape. I see music and art as an escape. It's a way to tell stories, but it's also a way to, again, like reclaim the narrative. There's so much power, emotion, there's so much power in art, in the imagination, in that storytelling, and that is, I think, how we resist. You resist by creating, you resist by community. Should we do a reading? I did get my cards out, but I have so much that I'm feeling and so much that I wanted to say about this particular moon coming up. So, Six of Pentacles. I think that makes sense given what we've just been saying about switching the narrative and taking the power back. It's time for a rebalancing of the scales of justice. Some of you could be, making vows or making plans to balance your budgets, but really this is about energy input and energy output. Like, what are you giving? What are you receiving? What powers you up? What do you need to give more energy to? What is draining you? There's just this question of things have been where have they been one-sided in your life, and how can you begin to bring that back into balance? The Five of Cups. And there's one hiding behind. How did I know that it was going to be the Ace of Pentacles? This is why I love what I do, and I can't stay away. So, it's time to move on from pain. It's time to maybe tell your story. It's time to clean up the mess. A lot of you have been living in loss, living in regret, living in fear, letting those things continue to color your experience. Some of you, I think with Leo being pride can be healthy. Of course it can be unhealthy, but with the healthy amount of pride, it's antithetical to shame. And what I'm seeing here is, we're talking about polarity of creation and destruction, shame versus pride. And it's time to start cleaning up the mess, like those things that make you feel shameful, things that you invested in that you thought you had to keep going, keep giving to because you've already invested so much. Like, let this be a new beginning where it's time to feel safe. It's time to manifest from a place of safety, from a place of trust, from a place of honesty. If I'm talking about authenticity and speaking from the heart, but then I'm wearing a mask or I'm wearing a costume, I feel like some people out there would think, well, how does that make sense? It makes perfect sense. This is a visual representation. But the point also is to remove the ego. That's why we wear the mask, right? You wear the mask to hide yourself. I don't want the recognition. I just want the message to get out there, kind of thing. It adds mystery. Yes, it adds visual intrigue, but why do people wear disguises? Because they want to just get the work done without being recognized. Good or bad. In a surveillance state too, it's kind of profound to wear a mask, because I know that in a lot of protests, they're not legally allowed to. I see a rebalancing of power here. I see a lot of us finding faith in the future again, feeling purified, feeling like there's possibility for growth. I'm seeing new financial beginnings. A lot of you maybe have been letting, with the Five of Cups, there could have been a lack of boundaries or a lack of awareness. Like maybe some of you are not checking in on your bank accounts, or you're not aware of little hidden fees or subscriptions or things, and you're like leaking money. You're just, something is leaking and it needs to be cleaned up and contained. So I feel, and that could have an environmental, because Five of Cups can really be something that has spilled. I don't know, there might be something that's been leaking. And it kind of feels like, I think there's a lot of stuff that we're hoping kind of gets out or gets leaked, let's say. But just in an environmental way, this could actually be like a cleanup, a containing of something that has been leaking, seeping. Yeah, it's a creepy, crawly energy, like seeping, leaking, leeching, sucking the life out of something. We must resist when the vampire is at our throat. We must resist when the vampire is at our throat. Create an altar, create a space, or go visit a space that exists. Go visit somebody's grave. Go do something sacred. This is sacred. What does it mean when something is sacred? It means it cannot be touched. It cannot be changed by outside forces. It can't be touched. It's sacred. So what is sacred to you? Protect it. You no longer have to be ashamed or afraid. You are sacred. Do you know that? I feel like this day represents an amount of closure for a lot of people, where there has been some association with pain or with loss or with something that was taken from them. When something is out of your hands and someone else has taken it from you, I don't know if this grief or this pain ever really goes away completely. And I'm not telling you that it has to, but I'm telling you there are ways that you can transmute that experience to rebalance the power. Because I think a lot of us have been feeling powerless, and this moon is so warm and fiery and empowering. It's meeting with Saturn and Neptune, and to create this great triangle of fire, this great flame. And that is the symbol of fire, isn't it? So it feels like everything is aligning. And I keep seeing Cassiopeia. I've seen it 3 times now, 3 times, Cassiopeia. And I just saw it in a client's reading the other day too, and I've forgotten the symbolism of it at the moment. But that could be symbolic or significant at this time. Let's get an oracle card from the Nature's Whispers deck. An oracle card for the collective. This is let love be your beacon. Let love be your beacon. Let it guide you. Let it be your guiding light. Love, the heart space. Oh, and there's rabbits in this one as well. That looks exactly like the rabbit that I was petting in my dream. And again, we have the lilies. You see the lilies in her hair, the lilies down here as well. Lilies symbolize purity in a way. I think biblically they represent purity, but in a more esoteric or secular way. Oh, not secular. In a symbolic way, generally lilies represent peace. Even innocence. Connect with loving frequencies, connect to loving yourself. I think a lot of us have forgotten to love ourselves. Maybe some of us feel like we don't have time for that, but it's so critical to connect to that part of you. Just once a day, just check in with yourself, love yourself, and see how that feels. I think I'm going to leave that there, everybody. Thank you for watching. My books are open for personal readings if you would like. Oh, it's warm in here. If you would like to get a personal reading with me, I'd love to read your cards. My email address is in the description box below. It's just $50 Canadian, or pay what you can. So I would love to read for you. And everybody, have a wonderful new moon, and I will see you very soon for the August tarot readings. I wish you all peace, love, and strength.